Chris, I know you purchased your tickets, and that's all fine and good, but this isn't like the other wrestling company we came from. This isn't an invisible wall right here. I could easily step through. And I could easily come up there, and we can fight right here and right now.
Welcome back. It is week 5 of the War Report already. I am your co-host, Murjani Rawls. I am here with my esteemed colleague and friend, Cyrus. Cyrus, how you feeling, man? What up? Welcome back to the War Report. We are week 5 already, man. This is crazy. I am your co-host, Murjani Rawls, and of course I'm all with my esteemed colleague and friend, Cyrus. How are you feeling, man?
I would like to stop watching wrestling for like a month, please. There's so much cool shit that I want to see, but it's just like, man, I don't have time, and time I could squeeze in is to watch fucking AEW.
I knew you were going to allude to that. This AEW show, let's just say it had an interesting segment, or a couple interesting segments, and an interesting finish that we'll get into. We'll get into briefly. And it's not to overly criticize them or over criticize anything. Like I think on the show that we kind of want to like tell how we feel, kind of tell how it is, and kind of look at things objectively. But I would say that if you look at both NXT and AEW, there was a clear difference here, especially with the NXT ending.
Oh yeah. Man, AEW for the second week in a row, it's like a 2-match show, and both those matches both matches are at the beginning of the show, so you could basically ignore everything else. It's insane. I'm really hoping the quality improves very soon. So this is a more. So the show is fun to watch again. Honestly.
Yeah, they got a couple weeks until their first official pay-per-view while having AEW Dynamite full gear. And I really hope that they start setting up some stuff soon. I mean, I know they have 2 or 3 weeks. Because, you know what? We'll get into that Cody segment soon.
Man.
I mean, I'm sure we have plenty to say about it. But let's talk about NXT, because I'm sure everybody's buzzing about a certain heel turn that happened. But let's start with their women's division that's really taken off. They started with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, which I thought was a really good test of strength between two powerful and agile opponents.
Yes, this match is really great. I love the receipts that they're giving each other throughout the whole match. This whole match, I'm just like, man, they would do some, Rhea Ripley would hit Bianca, and I'm just like, all right, how is she going to come back from that? And then, it just keeps going back and forth like that, and I think this match is, really, really good. I know we were kind of we were kind of just like, all right, but why is this match happening before? Because, Bianca is, she's as ready as Shayna is to be called up already, They
are both, man, with Bianca losing here, and I'm not saying that she looked weak because she definitely had her strong points here. I'm she's ready to go. If you're not doing because Io and Candice gets involved. Io kind of attacks Rhea, and then Candice attacks Io. I think if you're not going to do kind of a 4-way dance for the number 1 contendership to go against Shayna, you got to move Bianca up. Bianca is ready to go to Raw. They need somebody who's charismatic to kind of fill in for that women's division up there.
Yeah, especially with Sasha Banks being out for I'm not sure how long.
From there, you had the tag team title match. I know that we had spoken, especially last week, about getting Maria and Jessamine involved, and we got a wish this week. It was like we booked the card. They're going win against the Fly Kicks for a chance to fight the Kabuki Warriors next week. Cyrus, what'd you think about Marina and Jessamine in this match?
We asked for it, but I do think it's a be careful what you wish for kind of situation. I do want to see them get better in the ring, so like I'm completely okay with like them not being, amazing or like, completely blowing us away. But I do think how they do wrestle in this match, I think they should carry that style forward. It's a very revivalist kind of style. Or just like really old school wrestling, like they section off the ring, they're beating the hell out of Dakota, and basically just like preventing a hot tag, and then once it's tagged to Negan, like I mean Tegan, like the match is like fantastic.
Yeah, I think it was cool that they made Tegan look strong for the second week in a row because she got the hot tag, she got most of the offense. Dakota was on the receiving end of a lot of offense. Duke and Shafir stuff. So they go on and they fight the Kabuki Warriors next week for the women's tag team titles. I think that it's really cool that you have the singles and you have Kabuki coming over to NXT and defending those titles. Like I think it's really interesting that they are kind of like making more use of their deep roster of the women's division over there. Like it's something that we've been asking for.
Yeah, and since Sasha Banks and Bayley were too big of cowards to show up in NXT and actually fight somebody, I think it's really cool that the Kabuki Warriors are actually like standing up and actually heading over to NXT.
Well, didn't Bayley and Sasha show up to like a house show or something like that?
They showed up to a house show just to have their presence known and didn't face anybody because they're cowards. And it's real cool that to see Asuka and Kairi Sane to do it. I think they're gonna have a fantastic match. I feel so bad for Dakota Kai because she is gonna get hurt. Like she gonna get bodied.
Asuka is going to work real stiff, and her kicks are going to come, and boom! Like,
hey man, if Kyrie hits that like that back fist, the spinning back fist,
that she hit on Lacey.
That's gonna be decapitation, just live on the USA Network. Like, it's just gonna be insane.
So we have Matt Riddle versus Cameron Grimes. This was an awesome match. You said they were going in their takeover bag here.
Yes, this is, I would say, like, we're still in the first hour of NXT, and these dudes came out and said, yeah, we're going to have a takeover match. And I remember when we were talking in the group chat, somebody was just like, oh, it's going to be Cameron Grimes versus Matt Riddle. And I was just like, there is no way in hell Riddle is getting squashed here.
There were a lot of counters, which I loved in the beginning. Cameron kicked out of a lot of stuff, like including that like bro to sleep German suplex combo that I really liked. But Riddle got the win, but Cameron didn't look weak at all, like losing.
Yeah, and he looked very good in defeat here.
And they have even teased kind of like going forward that little interaction with him getting knocked out by Tyler Bate at ringside. And then when Tyler is there, and of course, Pete Dunne was there earlier when Kathy Kelly asked him about Killian Dane, I'm like, okay, yeah, Pete Yeah, Tyler. You have Imperium here. What is going on with NXT UK? Like, is anybody still there?
we gotta take a peek at NXT UK next week just to see if they're still like alive and kicking over there, because all their heavy hitters are over here on the USA Network.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, like we highlighted that like Gallus won the tag team titles, like over like Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. That I hope that feud still continues. But I'm like, for singles, like who is Walter defending against? Like I know Tyler and Devlin have like some unfinished business to do, but I'm like, who is Walter's next challenge? Like he's over here in main NXT.
Yeah, and there is no sign of a NXT UK takeover in sight. So I think they might just have to start just having title matches on the show just to have them.
So we have Breezango, and it was supposed to be Kushida, but unfortunately he's hurt. So Swerve Scott took his place against the Forgotten Sons. I was really I was really impressed with the Forgotten Sons here. They looked really good. I thought it was funny that Fandango was the Haas of the tag team, like going against Jackson Riker. But this was good stuff.
Jackson Riker definitely looks like the powerhouse of the team, like of the duo. Hopefully they can get a match for the NXT title soon, or maybe just.
So single
Riker gets like some single success going on, and probably like go against Roderick Strong.
So Swerve actually like he took some defense, but like he looked good here too. It kind of like with the short stint. I like to hear. Then we go with Angel Garza versus Jack Gallagher. Welcome back, Jack. It's been a while since we've seen him. With Leo Rush on commentary, I think that it's an interesting dynamic because Leo is the humble one and Angel is kind of the more charismatic one.
Yeah, Leo is taking a look into his past. He's playing it very humble here. Leo Rush isn't like trying to like take over commentary or anything. He's not like he normally would when he was on Raw. Like he's very humble here. He's not like really insulting him. He's saying like funny quips in every now and then, but it's just humble Leo Rush.
I think I know like 205 Live kind of got rated with the draft, but it showed like there's still some good cruiserweights. I think that Angel and Jack had a good quick match here, and it looks like Angel is going to be the next challenger to Leo, which I think is going to be a really good program. Like I'm interested to see what Leo does as champ.
Yeah. Hopefully Garza can get like a couple more wins in rather than just him beat Gallagher and then gets a title shot, because I definitely think he should lose against Leo Rush, but like I think he should look really good in his defeat, and I think we should start with like just having him look amazing on his way up to having that championship match.
Yeah, because I feel like with 205 Live, like during Drew Gulak's time, that they were just kind of burning through challengers, and even with like Buddy Murphy, right?
Well, everything since I would say. Cedric Alexander got the title, where they were like really just like there was just like a lot of matches just to have them, and then when Buddy took it, it was just like it became like the everybody gets their turn like time, but like now I think Leo should really hold it for a really long time and like probably like put some prestige on it, but like it's like. I don't think any of the champions were bad, but like I think Leo Rush can make like this title like something special.
I think Buddy definitely did elevate it. Drew did a good job, but I think Leo, with his story and kind of like how he wrestles, he's a good wrestler. I think that he can elevate it to another standard. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so there is two things about this main event, right? Yeah, Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic versus Roderick Strong. My initial thoughts when I saw that the match was announced is that, all right, they're going to throw Roddy around, which they did. Keith and Dom are going to have like their strong suits, also what they did. But I don't think that I was expecting some of the spots that happened either way. They were insane.
Yes. We're just going to cut right into it. Everybody, just like the Tower of Doom spot where Roderick Strong literally could have died if he wasn't like, assisted like hoisting himself on Keith Lee's shoulders. I just think like Dom wasn't ready for Keith Lee to like start moving, so like Roderick Strong was like not even like halfway up to the air, but like man, that impact, man, like Keith Lee like just dangling outside the ring after the spot, man. I see why everybody was concerned on Twitter when they saw this.
It didn't look like Dom, like, he was trying to get him over for the suplex, and kind of, him and Roddy just kind of hung there. And I'm like, uh-oh, they're not going to make it. And it looked like Keith kind of, like, compensated for the weight, thankfully, and was able to get the powerbomb off, because I'm like, oh, my God. But this match had some crazy-ass spots, like the one on the outside with Keith throwing Roddy to Dom, hitting the feast your eyes, and then him doing the push. That was awesome. Keith doing that damn moonsault. That was crazy. That's where I think Morrow really thrives on commentary too, with those spots and like the whole like Keith Lee, like when he was doing. I thought that was pretty cool. That choke bomb that Dom did. Top rope power bomb. Roddy even looked good. Like he looked strong. He hit the Olympic slam on Keith, and then that backbreaker to Dom. What'd you think about the finish though?
I liked it a lot because it kind of just like because they were like tagging Roddy first, like they were like working together, beating the hell out of him, and they're just like, let's finish this. Since last week their match kind of ended in a no contest. But you really think that Keith Lee is going to win because like Roddy is like nowhere to be seen. He's out of the picture, and then he just slides in with a kick right into Keith Lee's face. I would have thought that I thought he would at least attempt of End of Heartache, or like try to do a stronghold on somebody. But I understand that maybe a strike finish was probably for the best for Roddy.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be like Roddy is strong, and he showed that, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get up Keith for like the End of Heartache. That might be tough. But it reminded me of like the triple threat that he had with I think Pete Dunne and Velveteen, where he kind of like snuck in and got the win there. Like it was all kind of like the heel thing that he does, and he retains. But let's talk about this ending segment because boy, oh boy. The contrast to the other show that we're going to talk about soon. We did not, I don't think anybody saw this coming. So Undisputed Era comes out and they celebrate. Then Ciampa comes out with this crutch. I'm like, why do you still have this? You know what I mean? Like,
I hate that it's camouflaged. Like it's all camouflaged.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, why do you have a camel crutch out? Like, I don't think your leg still hurts. I hope not. So he comes out, Gargano comes out, and they like have this like DTY thing, which is pretty cool. Then Finn Balor's music hits, and you're like, oh wow, this is about to get it going. Like all 7 of them come in the ring, and I think somebody mentioned on Twitter like how like smooth Finn Balor did this. So like he's able to take off his like leather jacket and then kick Gargano right in the head with one
smooth Pele kick to his head.
And Gargano sold this amazingly. Like I'm like, wow, did he really kick him? So that's happening. What I don't think that I noticed on the initial watch, I had to watch it again. Undisputed Era is beating the hell out of Ciampa.
I feel like I pointed it out to a lot of people because everybody was like really just focusing on Finn and Johnny. But yo, Undisputed Era, all four of them are beating the dog shit out of Ciampa. They are like doing like 30 kicks per second on Ciampa, and it looks insane.
Yeah, I think like Fish and O'Reilly do the up and under on him too. I'm like, damn. So that's happening. Gargano goes to the railing, and Finn goes with a super drop kick that not only it looks like Gargano bounced off the railing and then went over, but it knocked all the enhancement talent over too.
Yeah, man, they kicked a whole damn hole in his chest. I think the barricade falling was a very, very nice touch to it all. Like, damn, that must have really hurt. Like, Finn came in really fast to deliver that. I think when the match happens, it's going to be something.
Not only that, but he hits him with with the Bloody Sunday on the ramp. So, like, if you look at the injury report today, like, Gargano is definitely on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy has checked in. He signed his contract to CTE Records. Like,
Mad Max contract. You know, he's going on tour and everything. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Johnny, like, was rocked from all of that.
So, I know we had some concerns about, like, what Finn Balor's direction was going to be. I think this was an amazing turn for him. What do you think about kind of like this program going forward? I think it was the right thing to do to keep Ciampa and Gargano separated for a little bit. We may get them at War Games, like with Undisputed Era, with Ciampa and Gargano, and maybe Dom and Keith. But I think this was a good move.
I don't think it's going to be them in War Games. I'm still thinking it's going to be Imperium. But this eases my worry about Balor and Ciampa possibly having a number one contenders match, or there being a triple threat match between them two. And now it wasn't even a thought at first for me. Finn Balor and Johnny Gargano are going to have barn burner of a match or a series of matches, and it might be the best stuff in NXT history.
I think NXT right now is with all these programs that they're having, especially the multiple tiers with the women's division. You're setting some stuff up with the NXT Championship, the NXT North American Championship, and even some mid-card stuff. I think with the talent that they have, they're starting to solidify some stuff. They're starting to fire on all cylinders, which is what we've been asking. Like, I think, you know, they were a little wistful. Like, they were, like, putting on, basically saying, like, we could have the best matches. And that's cool. That's cool and all. But you need angles, too, to kind of, like, keep the audience. And with this big one, I think this is a really good start.
Yeah, the women's division definitely had their angle, but it was like still open ended. This one is too, but I think just having two angles is going to really help the product and probably get some more viewers next week. I think ratings for NXT will go up, though I really don't care. But I have a very big question.
What's your question?
When Finn Balor deems it worthy to bring out the demon for Johnny Gargano, who goes over? Because Johnny Resiliency versus the unbeatable demon, I think the earth might just have to explode.
That match might be longer than any like Kenny Omega and Okada match because of all the kickouts and basically all the resiliency that would happen, it would be like Super Saiyan Goku versus Super Saiyan Vegeta going back and forth.
Yeah, like, that match is going to be crazy. Like, I like, Johnny would have... Nah, man. I don't know. That'd be crazy.
I think that...
Yeah, whatever... honestly, if we got that at TakeOver Mania, oof.
I think you get a lot of matches out of this feud. Like, dude, we're getting Johnny Gargano versus Finn Balor. Like, I don't think that that's a one and done. Like, I think that you can do a series and get a lot out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. This kind of like this kind of kills like one of the other desires that I have, where it's just like I want to see him, face like a lot of our bigger talent, like Keith Lee or Dijakovic. But honestly, I'm perfectly okay with this as an alternative.
Well, we talked about NXT real fast, which we agreed is a really good show.
Yeah.
And we are going now to AEW. Boy,
Dark.
oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Let's start with Dark.
Okay. Nyla Rose versus the Librarian Leva Bates. First off, they gotta stop this. They gotta stop this Librarian shit. Fans are cursing at it now. They're saying the F word. I just cursed and I just censored myself. Okay, but they're saying the F word to it. They start off. They're throwing books in the ring. I don't get that. I don't think this does Leva Bates any favors. It looked like she was, and I think it speaks more to the lack of familiarity that their women's division has with each other. It looked like Leva Bates was thinking about every single move before she did it, and she came off really robotic, and it looked like she wasn't even in full gear. It looks like she was kind of working at half speed, and then Nyla kind of like took the reins and kind of showed that she was like the dominant one. And I think we'll touch on this. Like, Taz put over Nyla in 10 minutes and on this match more than JR has in how many shows?
5 episodes? Well, shows in general. Jesus. Probably like 10 shows.
Like, Taz showed you what they should be doing when they're talking about the women's division. This, I think, and like, I don't mean but this might be one of the worst matches I've seen this year. And
yeah,
I've seen a lot of them, and I don't think that it really. Please stop just stop with the library thing. Stop it. It is not helping Peter Avalon. It did not help Leva Bates here. What do you think?
If anybody has the quote-unquote go-away heat, it's definitely the Librarians. And you said that Leva Bates might not be working at full gear, but I definitely think this is her full gear. I don't think she's good at all. Yeah, she's like counting her stat. Like, people are really bashing Britt Baker for her being fairly green or just like being very unexperienced. But what is Leva Bates' excuse in this sense? Because I definitely think she's been. I'm pretty sure she's been wrestling much longer than Britt Baker, and she's complete like awful. And I can, I'm not even gonna say that, but maybe NXT letting her go was for the best.
Oh man, damn, R.I.P. Blue Pants. I just think
I wish she kept that. It was very simple. Everybody loved it. I don't get this Librarian thing.
I just think that, like, and we'll talk about it more on the main card, you need more than one women's match on the main. Like, get these women some timing together, because you could tell, like, it looked like they were just, like, they just went out there, they didn't talk about it at first, and they're like, all right, man, let's have a match. And,
yeah.
It wasn't a very good one.
They, a lot of these, I don't know how AEW wrestlers are, like, prepping or training for matches. But I definitely think there should be time set aside where they can like probably practice some stuff.
You had Joey Janela versus Brandon Cutler. I think this was the beginning of them kind of showing that Joey can actually wrestle and doesn't have like he's been in 2 death matches, and this is kind of like them showing, all right, man, like he can actually have some like wrestling acumen. But I don't think that Brandon Cutler was kind of like the right guy to show that with. I think that they did the right thing and had him because he looked way better with Kenny. And it just looked like I give him credit here, but I don't think that Brandon Cutler was just kind of like the right dance partner for that.
Yeah. I don't think AEW has a fantastic technical wrestler for Joey to like really pair up with when he wants to wrestle like your British Bulldog. I do think like this is a good way to like this is a good step forward for Joey Janela. I feel like he should have definitely took this step a long time ago in his indie career to show people that he can actually wrestle rather than get on this big network and then try to wrestle.
Well, he's heard the Cornette stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just like, maybe, old man yelling at the clouds. Yeah, Jim Cornette. Yeah, he does wild out. But like in this, like Joey Janela really needs to prove that he can wrestle and not just be a hardcore guy because AEW isn't going to have hardcore matches all the time. And a lot of people are really used to just seeing Joey Janela in hardcore matches. So when they see him in singles matches, they kind of just turn away, and that does him a big disservice. So I definitely think AEW needs to get, he has to wrestle somebody different. And I think on the main show, yes, he wrestles Kenny Omega, and I think he looks very good in that match. I think if he has a match with CIMA, you could probably get some cool stuff in there. Brandon Cutler, take a step back. But, I thought the match was okay.
And then they ended it with the 8-man tag with Young Bucks, Cody, and Dustin, with CIMA, T-Hawk, and Private Party. It's what you would expect from the 8-man tag. Like, Young Bucks and Private Party doing a lot of high spots. CIMA and T-Hawk had some good work here, too. I'm wondering, like, why do they put CIMA in all these matches just to lose? Like...
Yeah, CIMA and T-Hawk are really good in this match. They're having great, they're doing like some cool spots in this match. After this whole tag team match is over, I definitely think they should they should be a team on the show, gathering up some wins.
Yes. Like, just don't throw like all of like the foreign talent. Like, CIMA has lost to Kenny Omega in a singles match, and now Young Bucks, Cody, and Dustin runs in the 8-man tag. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're throwing him all the way to the VPs.
I definitely think like they should work on they should have the top talent working with a lot of the undercard dudes, just so you don't blow all your big matches on your first 2 months of TV.
Yeah, that's going to be. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but like that's going to be an issue, I think, going down the road. Like if they don't get any guys and they don't build up any more guys, like you're burning through a lot of matches really fast. This is only week 5,
Yeah.
So main show, they started off a little different. They didn't start off with like their theme song, like the "It's so fly, da 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 my." Like
I don't like that song. I don't like the NXT. I don't like the NXT song either.
What, the Slipknot?
I was listening. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I missed the old one.
Yeah, everybody has like kind of like been love it or hate it with All Out Life being like the Slipknot theme. Like they think it's weird that like
we are not your kind.
Well, yeah, because like the chanting, like you have like Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah like chanting like to a hard like metal song like "We Are Not Your Kind." Oh man,
I do miss the old theme, but yeah, the AEW theme isn't that great either.
Yeah. So we started off with this was a very tag team heavy show. We started off with a really good one. The Lucha Brothers versus Private Party. That was the semifinals of the tag tournament. I think that both teams look good. Private Party, I want to definitely see more of. I expected the Lucha Brothers to win here. I you know what I mean? Like, Private Party, if you're saying that, like, they're building young guys up and you have a concern with that, I think that they're doing a really good job with them, especially, like, I know it was like, okay, well, the Young Bucks kind of got their win back in AEW Dark, but I think that even in defeat, they're definitely a team that you want to see more of. Yeah,
absolutely. Even just with them, like, beating the Bucks before, like, I think, you know, that already exceeded a lot of expectations of a lot of people, and, like, that match just being fantastic. I think this match is really good as well. I think these guys definitely should be, like, you know, like, top 2 tag team in their tag division. So whenever the match against Pride and Powerful happen, like, I definitely think they should go over.
So we segued one tag team match immediately into another one.
I have a problem with that, because the Private Party and the Lucha Bros match is really, really good, and then they're just like, we gonna have another one.
Here comes
let me breathe.
To show the Dark Order video package, kind of the show of, like, a little bit of it, but, like, it was funny because, like, they've been telegraphing that the Lucha Brothers and SCU is gonna be the match, like, it's gonna be the final, because you wouldn't have, like, the Lucha Brothers attacking SCU if that wasn't gonna happen. I think with all the criticism that Dark Order has taken, I think that they look good, especially towards the end of the match. The crowd kind of got into it as they did a little bit more of those high spots. That Kazarian DDT, that looked dangerous as hell. Like, he took that on Dark Order. They took it on the 8th.
I hope he's okay.
And it looks like Scorpio Sky is second week in a row over, like, Rover.
Oh yeah. Like, I don't want to say, like, it's a career revival like PCO, but, like, he's getting a lot of eyes on him late into his career, and I think rightfully deserved.
Okay, real quick, just a little segue. Speaking of PCO, it sounds like I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true or not, that his contract is up soon.
I saw that article. I saw that article as well, and I was just like,
do you think that he would go to
I guess, man. Please don't. I don't want to see PCO, man. Come on. That novelty is, like, over with. Like, now he's really just like a 60-year-old dude that just takes crazy bumps. Like,
they'd like to take enough crazy bumps. To me, man.
But no, I don't think there's a place for him on AEW. Please, Matt Jackson, if you hear this, man, please agree with me.
So the finals, it's going to be Lucha Bros versus SCU next week. The Rock and Roll Express will be presenting the tag team titles. I don't know if they're going to get involved.
Well, they're going to be at World Tag League in December, so they're going to be doing that. But I missed this part. So when I saw when you told me it earlier, I was just like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, they announced it on Twitter. Like, again, this is something that, like, I don't know if it just happened, but it would be really cool if they said it on the show.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
man, speaking of on the show, man, I miss Taz already. I wish he was back, bro. I miss Taz so much.
There was a soundbite where, like, Tony Giovanni sounded really excited about something, and he asked JR, and, like, JR's like, yeah, man, I'm here.
Yo, Taz is what this show desperately needs, because, like, I legit, like, the way he talks, the way he talked on AEW Dark is, like, he actually never seen shit like this before. Like, so anything that's done in the ring, he's like super impressed and like sounds like wowed by everything. And I think that is so much more than like that's much better than the energy that JR gives a lot of this stuff.
So you had Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela. Commentary really hyped up that, like, all right, Joey is going to show up his wrestling side. Kenny really sold for him, I think, really good here in the beginning of the match. It did show that, like, because Joey's going to have to transition because how many death matches are you going to have? Like, they only really have, like, Darby Allin and Jimmy Havoc for those type of matches. And I don't know, and Mox is involved like in the main program, so I don't know how many times you're going to run that match since Mox already beat him before. I think Joey did a good job. I think that like if he could kind of give a middle finger to Cornette, I think that he would do that here and show him that match. Yeah, and Omega, of course, picked up the win like I expected. Now that's 2 wins that Omega has. But yeah, what do you think about Joey in this match? Do you think that like he looked good as more of a technical wrestler here?
Versus what we saw in AEW Dark, I definitely think this is a much better match. I completely understand why Joey Janela is like, you know, completely wrestling because, you know, you said it before, like he really can't just do hardcore matches. That's just not going to be done on AEW TV a lot. I'm here for British Bulldog Janela. I'm completely okay with him doing head scissors and all that other shit. It's different, so I'll give him that. I did think it was like super duper weird that they were just like, due to the positive reception of the hardcore match with Kenny Omega, we're going to have the match again on AEW, and it's going to be a completely regular singles match.
Even Joey on Twitter was like, "What? Huh? Like,
what was the point of that?"
we don't want to drop off in ratings, like, so we got to have Joey like fight like a bigger name because I think it was it going to be? I think it was going to be Brandon Cutler, right, or somebody like that.
Yeah.
And then like,
yeah, this is much better.
Yeah, the response was like, "Eh." So they were like, "All right, let's get Kenny in here." Okay, we are going into the Cody segment. I got some things to say about this. So,
all right,
Cody comes out with this big pyro thing, huge pyro, right? Mm-hmm. He teased on Twitter that he had an announcement to make. And, you know, like, we've talked, like, we were hoping, like, everything was all right. Like, hopefully, like, he's not injured or anything like that. Forgot to mention that during the SVU Dark Order match, the Inner Circle, with Jericho flashing about, 5 or 6 tickets. I don't think Hager was with them. They walked through the crowd, and they walked through what would considered to be the smallest box, the luxury box ever, right? They're up there. It's like they're eating popcorn. I'm like, wow, they couldn't get actual food. And Jericho has like 1 bottle of bubbly. So Cody's about to like make his like announcement. Jericho's using an air horn. Like, and it's not even in the mic at first, but it interrupts Cody talking. So Cody says this one thing, and I'm just like, okay, all right. He's like, something like, this is not where we came from to Jericho. And I'm like, oh, yippee, another WWE dig. Or even maybe another New Japan dig. This is synonymous with Cody. And I want to start this off with giving Cody credit because he has reinvented himself. That's cool, but it's important to remember that he asked for his release. He released that big note on Twitter about him wanting more for himself. WWE didn't cut him. He left. He went to the Indies. He was like Global Force champion for there. He went to Impact, did some stuff. He got into the Bullet Club, reformed himself as like this great heel. I've even written about that he was a great heel. went to ROH, won their world title. What more do you want? Like, what more do you want? You have your VP of your own company. Why in a main title program, which is like, I guess the first major one, if you want to consider like going into full gear, why are you still mentioning WWE? Why are you still making digs at them? Like, focus on you. Like, I get the throne thing. Okay, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some people didn't like that. I'm like, all right, that's his one. You know what I mean? But the comments and all this other stuff, I'm like, dude, it's been 2 or 3 years, or maybe even longer. When are you going to move on from that? Like, you are fighting Jericho for the title. I'm trying to think, all right, what can AEW offer me in their main title program? Now, like, tuning in is like, what can Cody or anybody could say, dig about the WWE? You shouldn't be worrying about that. You should be worrying about booking your own show. And then he says something, I'm like, something about invisible wall and like walking through the ropes. Dude, you walked up with Dustin DDP. I'm like, wow, is DDP an active wrestler? And MJF, you guys walked up the steps to that box. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just segments like this. I'm like, I try to get on AEW side. I try to be complimentary when I can be, and I just don't get it. Like, they keep on shooting themselves in the foot. Like, Cody and Jericho could be a good program when they're stopped worrying about everybody in Connecticut or Florida. That's all I got to say. I mean, like, then you had, like, them walking up there. Jericho closes a glass door. I don't know how many suites have glass doors, but this one did. Cody uses MJF's scarf to punch through it. Then they have a big brawl in concessions, and the last image is Jericho flashing his ticket, saying that I have a ticket, I have a ticket. In what stadium, after you had a brawl, that you don't get kicked out of after that? Like, what, like, it's just like, wow. Cyrus, do you have anything else to add to this? Because
you kind of covered a lot of the stuff that I had an issue with in the segment as well. So I'm just going to cover all the parts that I found hilarious in the segment. But actually, first, I wanted to start with I do think it was brilliant for the AEW social media page to say that Cody, and, you know, I thought it might have been, you know, him probably have to pull out of the title match. You know, maybe he isn't medically clear to wrestle. So at first, when I saw this statement, you know, an alarm went off, and I was just like, I hope Cody's okay. I'm not a big fan of his match, but the last thing I want is for this man to retire due to, you know, injury or, you know, actually have to call out before or after, like, you know, the big match for his company. Because, you know, we'd probably have to get that match later, and boy, I don't want that. So there was a lot of concern for Cody. I was just making sure, like, I just wanted to know if he, and I think, like, soon as Jericho hit the air horn, I was just like, all my worrying was, like, lifted, and, like, also I no longer care about the segment. This shit is all jokes from here on out. You know, but good stuff for playing with my emotions. I thought this segment got really silly once Dustin came out and Jericho was, like, making fun of his win-loss record, and then Dustin was just like, yeah, he was just like, I think Jericho said, like, you're 1-4, and then Dustin was just like, well, I'm 2-4. No, like, that's not better. Like, that's not great. Like, what is, like, I think the win-loss, like, insults is going to get real old, because it's, like, it's real Call of Duty lobby-like, you know? Like, that's not cool, that's not cool shit, man. Then MJF comes out. Of course, I thought it was hilarious when Jericho started making fun of his scarf. MJF got to get a new scarf. He's looking get a new scarf. Get like a Burberry or like a Gucci one or something, Versace. You know, show you got some wealth, bruh. Some real wealth. I thought that was. Then when DDP came out, I was just like, why? Why did DDP come out and not Hangman Page?
Everybody's been kind of criticizing them about like how they build up Hangman, and not only did he not come out, you're bringing out DDP. I'm like, is DDP going to be in a match soon? Like, who is he going to fight? Is he going to fight Hager?
DDP is not an active wrestler, and I saw some people were just like, oh, but like DDP's a legend, you know, respect, you know, legends and stuff like that, or you know, you got to pop ratings. I don't know what kind of ratings DDP is popping.
God forbid if like WWE brought out like a Brock Lesnar or somebody like part-time, they would get criticized for that. But here I'm like, all right, you guys need to get people over in order to sustain things, and Hangman Page is not there.
Like, I think I would prefer a Hangman Page in my corner, you know, or like in a brawl rather than DDP. I thought that was so silly. And then when Cody like gets his crew and then like musters up the courage to walk over to the inner circle that's in their weird little box, Jericho runs away and closes the door, but like the door has like a huge glass window. And if you look into the box, bruh, you might see a couple lockers. That ain't no luxury box, bro. That's that shit ain't displaying no type of wealth. When I was looking, when I looked inside that box, and then Cody like does the thing, and I thought like peak laughter when Cody threw a garbage can full of garbage at Jericho. I died laughing. That shit killed me.
I think the Inner Circle may have gotten those tickets off StubHub at the last minute because... those
$15, $7 tickets that AEW be having?
Yeesh. Well, they must have because, like I said, like they were eating popcorn up there.
they were sitting with God, bro.
High up there. So, yeah, another tag team match. Like you said, like this show was very tag team heavy. You had the Best Friends versus Young Bucks. And one thing that I could deliberate from this match is that Orange Cassidy is very, very over.
Oh, yeah? He is as over as Scorpio Sky is, but all he's done in AEW was do a tope and catch Nick Jackson in this match. Shame.
Like I said, like I thought this was a solid tag team match. Like the Young Bucks got the win. They were doing Young Bucks stuff. The Best Friends got some offense in. Like it was just like, all right, you know, it was like a tag match that kind of segued into the later singles matches that we had. From there, we had the Britt Baker video package. I mean, they were in Pittsburgh. It is, you know, like home base for her. So it was like, you know, made the Britsburg homecoming. So they found an opponent for her. It's Stardom's very own Jamie Hayter. I'm a big fan of Jamie Hayter. So are you. I know that you didn't like what happened here.
Oh, like my mood from when I saw her come out to the result of this match. Man, you think my homeboy died? Man, I was so sad.
I feel like they did her dirty twice. I really like her being a heel. Like I like her heel offense and like her how she like was charismatically kind of like playing up to the crowd.
She can work. I just don't think that Britt Baker was a challenger for her.
I think that Britt was a little better in this match, but I think basically her getting the offense at the end leading up to the win, like it didn't look as fiery as I would have expected to. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, oh well, you know, Britt got offense and then, put her finisher on. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like a rousing, like, oh, here she comes, like she's the commanding baby face here. I was just like, I was confused.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, is she running like at a different speed? I wasn't sure.
I don't know what they're doing here. I definitely think Britt Baker should have lost, not because I don't like her. I think because you want to display this new signing in a positive light. I honestly do not care that it's her hometown. I think if you want to play up to a kind of story, because everybody's talking about like Britt Baker needs a lot of more experience and stuff like that. I don't know. I just think Jamie Hayter definitely could have. I think she could have got a win, and Britt Baker could have looked good in defeat. Her finisher, whatever, man.
It's like like the inverted like mandible claw thing that she has going. Like it was like.
I don't get it. I don't know why she win, man. That shit don't make no sense to me.
Also, I wanted to talk about JR for a little bit because he had some comments.
Oh, yeah.
Around like Jamie and like her size is like, dude, come on, man. Like he said something like, she moves pretty fast for basically how big she is. I'm like, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like they kept alluding to it, and I think JR just has a problem in general, just not being able to describe women wrestlers that well. Like with Riho matches, he always tells us, well, she's small, but she get in there.
She can, yeah. Jim Ross is like, I can't stress how bad he is at commentary, and like. I genuinely think he does not care. I don't think he really cares about what he's saying. So please, Cody, whoever higher ups, if you hear this, please bring back Taz. I am a pro Taz, like a Taz stan account. Please just bring back Taz. I think he's amazing at what he does, just in that short period of time in AEW. Like him, like constantly mentioning Jamie's size, it just makes me think about how Michael Cole would probably say it. It'd be probably don't be deceived by her size. She's she's a quick striker and a powerhouse. Not just being she's big and she's quick. Laying it on thick. Mask it up as something super special. JR don't have that it factor no more.
So there was an after-match angle. Jamie is trying to cut a promo, and then all of a sudden she gets attacked by Brandy, and then Brandy does this weird, angrily points her finger, and then backstage, and I'm like, okay, is this a heel turn for her? Is she showing some aggression? And I know you've talked and you've touched on basically maybe this is a bridge for her to have some feud with Britt. She's sending Jamie and B Priestley after her and hiring her and them being their hands.
Yeah, Brandy Rhodes is keeping her hands clean from stopping Britt Baker to reach greatness. But I really don't think you don't really need to do that because she already lost her title match against Riho. So, she's already in the back of the line with Nyla Rose. But I don't know. If you thought, man, I was already sad at the result of the match. And when I saw Brandy Rhodes just push her and Jamie wasn't fighting back, I haven't smiled since. That shit really hurt me. I really don't know what they're doing.
All right, AOW, let's try to get 2 women's matches on here soon. So we ended the night with Pac versus Moxley. Pac basically beats the hell out of Moxley before the match. Refs are checking on him. It looks like Moxley is those cartoons where they have birds around their head every time you got hit in the when somebody gets hit in the head.
Yeah.
It looked like Moxley was like that for a good portion of the match. Like he's just taking offense. Then Mox mounts a comeback, and the weirdest finish happens. They go to a time limit draw. Oh, even before that, there's a scary ass Falcon Arrow that I'm like, is Moxley going to get over, like, to take the bump? Like, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
But they had like this Okada Omega 2 ending where they had a time limit draw to end Dynamite. And I'm like, all right, if you're going to make this move to protect both men, then why have the match? Like, why even do this right then and there?
Yeah, I don't know why they had this match. I would much prefer, Pac still be upset and maybe he interferes in Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley's match. I forgot the stipulation for that match, but I don't think it would have resulted in a DQ of any sorts. If you were going to protect two guys, just don't have the match. You could have had Jon Moxley face Darby Allin or Jimmy Havoc or like Sammy Guevara. So like just any other singles competitor. If you wanted to protect these two so bad, I was very mad when I was like seeing Twitter's reaction to the stuff that was happening on NXT, and I was wondering what is going on AEW, because Moxie is like kicking the ref because I guess he didn't count fast enough. I thought, I don't know, it don't make sense.
And I think it kind of speaks to like the trouble that they have with their mid card and kind of like the depth of their roster, because like I'm like, who could Moxley face? Like he's gonna run through like Jimmy Havoc all the time. Like is he gonna fight Jungle Boy? Like
the three people I just named. Like Guevara's a stretch, but I don't know why he's not on this show.
No, he's in the luxury box with the popcorn.
Like he's 0-1. I don't know. Maybe he should probably get some wins, so he doesn't look like the weakest member in the inner circle right now.
That ended that show. Interesting episode of AEW as they try to set their cards for Full Gear. Oh man, we've said that their strongest division is their tag team division, and they definitely displayed that on this one. They got to do more with the singles because these WCW finishes. It's not going to work if it's down 6 months down the road. You know what I mean?
They're going to have a real issue in December, I'm telling you. These shows are going to look real different without, Cody and the Elite being at, the top of the card. These shows are going to look real weird December or, just at any point in time next year. I think this show definitely could have benefited from, another women's match, because we don't have a contender for Riho, and Full Gear is, I believe, pretty soon.
We haven't seen Sadie yet. We have not seen Penelope Ford, Karma, or we haven't seen Aja Kong. We haven't seen. There's a lot of women we haven't seen that they have on the roster. So it'd be nice to have build somebody up for Riho, because Full Gear is approaching. So yeah. Just to kind of finish up here, the quick rundown of the ratings. You had basketball come back. You had the World Series. So everybody thought that everything, ratings were going to be down a bit. So AOW is at 963,000 this week. NXT is at 698,000. AOW from October 2nd to October 24th, 1.4 million to 963,000. NXT 1.18 to 698. Now, just to kind of note, both are up they were up slightly in the key 18 to 49 demographic, which is kind of cool. NXT, not a big drop. And I think with that big Finn Balor angle, they're definitely going to get more eyes on it next week.
And with the Kabuki Warriors being there, I'm just like, when does the drop off stop? And then it gets more stagnant, you know, in the rating thing. Like, I'm really curious on what is going to be the number that AEW is getting week to week, you know.
Yeah, both of these shows are going to have to deal with basketball for a while. So, you know what I mean? So, it's definitely going to be interesting to see, how they go, and especially with holidays coming up. And
the thing is, Thanksgiving SmackDown. God, that's gonna be a crazy weekend.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I'm like, what is that rating gonna be? That's oof.
Yeah, Friday, whatever. It's gonna be like Black Friday or whatever. But people are gonna be home.
Yeah. So this is week 5 of the War Report. That is our show. Any final comments that you have, Cyrus, before we get out of here?
AEW. This is the second week that AEW has had a 2-match show. If they start having 1-match shows, it's gonna be really hard. It's gonna I might start watching these bitches on mute. I ain't even gonna front. Well, I'm gonna watch that shit on mute, and I'm gonna read a review, and that's just gonna be it.
Well, it's gonna be. Listen, NXT is starting to get their legs under them. They're starting to have really good matches now. They're putting it together with really good angles. So, AEW, you gotta give us a little more. You know what I mean? I understand that there are people who are kind of disenchanted with WWE, and AEW kind of brings back that WCW Nitro vibe. But look what happened to WCW.
That's just how it is. And you got to really look at the other. You got to look at all the other people that stepped up. You know, I feel like AEW is probably going to be around for a bit, but I don't know, man. Just have a better show, please. Please, just have better shows. And ratings could be whatever they are, but a bad show is a bad show, and I don't care who says it's really good or how many tweets I see that says actually, AEW is actually doing they're doing some really good stuff over there. No, they're not, bro. Stop lying. They ain't doing nothing. They are not doing anything revolutionary over there.
Oh man, that was a hell of a note to go out on. As always, you can follow us at RNC Radio Live. Listen, we got something for everybody over there. We just had a new episode of the A Show. We got RSPN with basketball season in full gear. Ha ha ha. A new episode of the Mount Silver podcast. We had a new episode of Late Fees. They're reviewing a crazy-ass movie in The Lighthouse. It's also talking about Joker and Parasite. We have a new show on there called The First Responders. You can also check on there. Cyrus, you're coming back with Spot Callers soon, right?
Shit, I sure hope so.
All right, so...
we probably going to have something for Halloween.
Nice. So, be on the lookout for that. For myself, Murjani, and Cyrus, thank you for listening to us, and we'll welcome you back next week.